Here we go. Phone video is on. So, hello. This is Writer Unedited, number 23, where I sit at my writing desk and just chat about whatever writing and, frankly, other things cross my mind. And what was I going to say? Oh, if you miss a live, you can always check it out on my YouTube channel. Ellen's here. Hi, Ellen. Happy New Year. Sorry, just glanced down and saw the comment. Very exciting. So glad you made it. So anyway, I just sit at my writing desk and chat. No makeup, no fancy backgrounds. Actually, it's not true when I say no makeup. I do wear lipstick. And I was laughing because fellow author Susan Carlisle and I were emailing the other day because we're thinking about doing a joint like Zoomy thing. And I said, if I have to put on full makeup, I'll never do it because I hate doing that. And she said, well, minimum of lipstick. And I laughed because I'm like, absolutely. I mean, I put on lipstick if I've been to Jazzercise and I need to like run to the post office right afterwards, even though I'm, gross and sweaty and in my workout clothes, I will still put on lipstick to go to the post office. Now, Susan's from the South and I'm from West Virginia, which is semi-South. And I wonder if that's a Southern thing where, our moms told us, always put on your lipstick if you're going out in public. I know my mother always did. I can't remember her not having lipstick on in public. So yeah, lipstick. I do wear lipstick. Also, I have very chapped lips, so the lipstick helps keep them moisturized, honestly. Okay, so enough of my nonsense about lipstick. So decorations, Christmas decorations. If you guys taken all of yours down, I have denuded the tree of all decorations, but it's still up. It's artificial. Mostly because the cats are just enjoying it so much. However, my very kind neighbor has promised that he will come over this Saturday and help me take it apart because comes in three pieces and haul it back down to the basement. And then tomorrow, my landscapers are coming to take down my outdoor lights, which always makes me sad because my outdoor lights make me happy when it's gray and grim in January. But it's time. It's definitely time. And I have landscapers do it because I don't do ladders anymore. I'm too old for that. I don't want to fall off of them. So how about you guys? Decorations down? Tree down? Let me see what we've got here. Ellen says I keep freezing. Oh dear. I'm sorry. I don't know why. Facebook just does stuff. Or maybe it's because of the storm. We're having internet problems. I apologize. Paula says, I'm from Jersey and in my 50s and my mom still yells at me to put on lipstick. Paula, good to know. Mom's, yep, I hear you. So she's from New Jersey too, I assume. So maybe it's maybe it's an age, a generational thing about the lipstick. I don't know. But I don't know. I just feel weird without it. Go figure. So Paula says, I'm not freezing there. Oh, that's good. Sharon says, tree is out, still putting everything away. No freezing here. Oh, good. So Ellen, maybe go off and come back on. See if that fixes it. I hope. Technology. Reboot. Always reboot. Okay, so what else was I going to talk about? So the reason I'm doing 7 o'clock tonight is because I had book club this afternoon. And it's what's called the No Guilt Book Club because you get to read whatever you want to. We don't all read the same book. You read whatever books you want to, and then you come in and report on them to the book club members. And it's honestly, it's great. I was in a book club, back when book clubs were sort of hot and new, where we all read the same book, and I liked it for about 6 months, and then I realized I had to read books so often that I really didn't want to, or our rule was you had to read 50 pages, I guess. So I stuck it out for a while, and then I ended up dropping out. But this book club I've been in for probably a couple of decades, maybe. Maybe not that long. Yeah, that long. God, I'm old. And I've stuck with it because you can read what you want. So this week, I reported on a book that I really enjoyed that I want to share with you. Cindy's here. Hi, Cindy. Good to see you. Oh, Ellen, I hope it fixes the problem. So I want to tell you about this book because I really liked it. It's called The Echo of Old Books by Barbara Davis. And It was an Amazon Prime Reads, first reads. I forget what they call them now. You know, where you get the book a month ahead of time for free if you're a Prime member. And so this book has a dual timeline. It's set in both 1941 and 1984. And the protagonist in 1984 is Ashlyn Greer, and she owns an antique bookshop. And she comes across two books. One is called Regretting Belle. That's the one she finds first. And the other one is called Forever and Other Lies, and she finds that one second. And the reason she's drawn to these books is that she has a gift where when she touches old books, she can feel the emotions of the people who owned them, touched them, read them. And these two books have particularly strong and rather upsetting emotions. There's anger and bitterness and sadness and loss. And so she becomes fascinated with them because, number one, they were clearly never published. They're nicely bound in blue leather. I think both of them are in blue leather. But there are no author names, no copyright pages, nothing. So they were never published. And they're also clearly, so she finds Regretting Belle first, and then Forever and Other Lies is clearly a rebuttal to Regretting Belle. It's very clear these two people are writing to each other. And that they were in love, and the love story ended badly. And she becomes obsessed with finding out who the people were and trying to find them in 1984. The books are set in 1941. And it's just, I found it a real page turner. Barbara Davis is a very good writer, you know, just writing wise. She creates really compelling characters. And you basically, in this book, get a mystery trying to track down the people. And keep in mind, it's in 1984. So, you know, you couldn't just go Google stuff, because I have to admit, the first time I was like, why don't you just Google it? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's 1984. I forgot about that. And where was I with this? Oh yeah, no Googling. So she's trying to track these people down, and she enlists the aid of the person who brought the books in the first place. He was cleaning out his parents' house because they've both died. And you get the mystery, which is terrific and has all kinds of twists and turns. And you get two love stories, one in the past and one in the present. And so I just want to highly recommend The Echo of Old Books by Barbara Davis. Really good. What else was I going to say about that? Nothing. Oh, so at book club, I also reported on Ann Patchett's new book, Tom Lake, but I'm going to talk about that a little later because it spoke to my writing. So let's go right into a writing update, because I'm revising my book. The book Royal Kaleva Luis is due to my developmental editor on February 1st. So I am polishing up the parts I can while still trying to finish the book. So sometimes this gets very confusing. Yesterday, for instance, the first thing I did was polish up chapter 9 because I needed to send it to my critique partners because we're meeting next week and they have to have time to read through it and make notes and do the things that they do. So I got that done and sent it off because I needed to do that for sure in the morning. Then I revised chapters 4 and 5 that my critique group had already critiqued, and I needed to fix all the things that they had found that needed fixing. And then after doing that, I had to write, I started work on the end of the book. And the truth is, I should have reversed the process of revising chapters 4 and 5 and polishing chapter 9 because I got very confused with the timeline. I wasn't sure who knew what when in each of those chapters. That was dumb. But I just really needed to get chapter 9 off. So I'll talk more about the ending of the book too. But I thought I would talk about my revision process. Just let me put one comment in to see if anybody else is commenting, in case Facebook's not putting them through. Okay, so my revision process. So I write the first draft of the chapter or the scenes, whatever. I write the first draft of the book, basically. I just keep on writing, right? So when it's time for critique group, I do a quick polish of the 20 pages. We send 20 pages at a time. of the 20 pages that I'm going to send to them, and then I send it off. And then they work over the pages ahead of the meeting. We meet in person once a month. So they write all kinds of notes on them, and they talk through all the issues that they found, big and small. They also tell me what's good about it, because it's just as important to know what's good, so you don't lose that when you're doing revisions. So they hand me pages, then they give me their notes back. So they talk it through, and then at the end of the meeting, they give me their written notes. And they look, I just want to show you. So here's one set of notes. I have 3 critique partners. Here's another set of notes from another partner. And here's another set of notes from another partner. So I take all of those. So I take all their notes home and I cry. Not for very long. And then I get to work, because I know they're right, honestly. All these things need fixing. So the next thing I do is I collate all 3 of these, all these notes that they've given me. I collate them all into one set of pages, which are my set of pages with all these handwritten notes on them. And then I cry again, because I know I'm going to have to fix all this stuff. Yeah, there's crying in writing. There's no crying in baseball, there's crying in writing. So after I finish crying again, and my crying is metaphorical. Sometimes it's stomping around the room. Sometimes it's just going off and eating cookies, because that's what I do when I'm stressed. And sometimes I actually cry. But then, once I've gotten over my stomping around and my eating cookies, I buckle down and I fix all of these issues that they've pointed out. And sometimes they don't just point out things that are wrong. They'll also say, you could do this to make it even better. And those are extremely useful suggestions too. And then, of course, I find things that I want to fix as I'm going through the pages yet again. As you can tell, writing is an iterative process. You go through the manuscript over and over and over. Not to mention that I will now send it through 3 editorial, actually it's going to be 4 editorial passes. 4 different people will then go over it, and then I have to go back and fix everything. All the issues they have. So fun. And then I do it all over with the next set of 20 pages that my critique group has worked over. And so it's slow, painstaking labor, but it always, always makes the book better. Unfortunately, my critique group, we can't work fast enough for them to go through the whole book, which is a bummer. But I generally have to hand it in long before, they maybe get through not even half of it generally. But I'm always so grateful for the pages that they do go through, because those are the pages that my editors have the fewest problems with. I mean, it really, it fixes, they're good. My critique partners are really good. All these notes are really good. So I generally have to do the least amount of editorial fixing once they've gone through pages. So it's great. So let's see, what do we say? Ellen went on her phone, no problem, excellent. Sharon says, wow, what a tedious process. Well, it's not tedious, because I want the book to be the best it can possibly be. So, and the truth is, once I get going on the revisions and I get my brain is in revision mode, I kind of enjoy it, because I feel like I'm just making the book better, which is always a good thing. And let's see. Pam says, oh, wow, sounds like fun. I think that's sarcastic, Pam, or do you like revising? So now I want to go on and talk about working on the end of the book, because I mentioned that I reported on Tom Lake and Patchett's latest book. And she's a very good writer, don't get me wrong. I found it a very pleasant read, which is not what I'm looking for in Ann Patchett. I'm looking for a compelling read. And it took me a while to figure out why I enjoyed the book, but didn't feel invested in it. And that's because it literally had no conflict. So weird. So it's another dual timeline book, like the first one I was talking about, where the narrator in this case is telling her daughters about her past. She had a summer fling with a very famous movie star. Well, he wasn't famous at the time, becomes a famous movie star. But the problem with the book is that all the way through, the narrator makes it very clear that she doesn't regret any of the choices she made in her past, that she loves her life exactly as it is, which is great. I mean, she has 2 daughters. She has a nearly perfect husband, seriously. But the problem is that I, as a reader, had no real reason to care about her past, since, you know, there were no stakes here. It was very different from this book, where there are a lot of stakes and a lot of conflict. However, the good thing is it reminded me of the importance of making the stakes high for the reader, to get the reader invested, which is helping me as I'm writing these last pivotal scenes of the book, which I hope I am making deeply emotional and even gut-wrenching at times, fingers crossed. But either way, you know, even if I'm not making them deeply emotional, I'm still making it more emotional and more gut-wrenching than it was before Ann Patchett reminded me of what was important. So I have to thank her for writing lovely books, but also for reminding me, basically relearning a valuable lesson that I really needed to be reminded of. So, you know, even a book that you don't think is the best book in the world can be extremely helpful to a reader. Okay, so let's see what Pam says. Pam says, no sarcastic. Oh, good. I'm glad. It sounds like a lot of work, but you authors work hard to get us good books to read. Appreciate all you do for us. Aw, Pam, thank you. We do work hard. It's a labor of love, though, of course. And, you know, thank goodness for all of you readers. I just want to say thank you to all the readers, because, of course, without you, there would be no point to me doing all this revising. There would be no point to me writing the first draft. You close the circle. You bring my characters alive in your own minds. Without you, there would be no me. So I appreciate you, just so you know. And frankly, that's all I've got. Does anybody have any questions they want to ask me? No? No questions in the comments? I'll put in one more comment just to see if Facebook's hiding anything from me, because Facebook likes to do that. No? Okay, well, thank you all so much for stopping by in the evening. I'm impressed that you remembered that I wasn't doing it at 2, so you came at 7. It was so nice to have you here, and I will see you next week. Oh, Pam asked a question. Yay! Pam says, what book are you working on now? I am working on Royal Kaleva Luis, which is, Luis is the king. If you've read Royal Kaleva Gabrielle, you already know that, of course. And I'm so excited about this book, because I really wanted to write about a king and try to get into the mind, the mind of a king. It's got to be an interesting place, because what a different job. It's not a job. It's a job very few people in the world have, let's face it. And of course, Luis is just the hottest silver fox on the face of the earth, in my opinion. I can't wait to share the cover with you. As soon as I get the book organized to be up for pre-order, I will share the cover, which I think is spectacular. I loved Gabrielle's cover. I think I like Luis's even better, amazingly. But thank you for asking, Pam. And right now, I'm shooting for a June release. Again, once I get it up for pre-order, I'll have a definite release date for you, but I'm guessing June. And I'm excited about that. So, any other questions? No? Okay. Thank you all again for coming, and I will see you next week at 2 p.m., barring unforeseen. Another question. Pam, I love it. She says, do you write mostly series? I pretty much write all series now, for a lot of reasons. One is I enjoy writing series because I like being able to bring back characters that I've gotten to know in subsequent books. Readers like series, and I want to make my readers happy. And in a way, it's easier to write a series because, I mean, for instance, Kaleva, I had to do a lot of world building to create a whole fictional country. And I've done the world building now, and so I add on to it in every book, but I don't have to start all the way back at the beginning, in my own mind. So that makes it easier as far as the series goes. Sharon says, nice a summary. Yeah, beach read. Woohoo! And Marianne says, awesome. Can't wait. Thank you, Marianne. I'm excited. I'm excited that you're excited. So thank you all. Okay, any more? I'm going to wait a little bit. Any more questions? Nope. Oh, well, I'll do this again. One more time. Make sure Facebook isn't withholding them. Nope. Okay. Then I will say goodnight for the third time. Or is it the fourth? And I will see you. Oh, Pam has another question. I love it, Pam. How did you get your start in writing? Oh, depends on how you define start in writing. So I've always loved to write, probably because I've always loved to read. Good night, Paula. And so I did, I did creative writing in high school. I wrote poetry. And then I was in the creative writing program in college, also writing poetry. And then, because you can't possibly make a living writing poetry, I got a job and didn't really write anything while I was working full-time. And then I had children, 2 of them. And when my youngest child, my son, went to school full-time, which was in kindergarten, I wrote A Bridge to Love, which was my first published novel. And you can still get it. So I've been writing ever since then. It was published in 2003. So I've been doing this for over 20 years now. In fact, last year was my 20-year anniversary. I did a celebration. Can't believe it's 2024 now. Craziness. But yeah, so I got started writing just by starting to write, basically. I got published in 2003 with Berkeley, which was part of what was then Penguin. Penguin is now Penguin Random House. And I now have, I can never remember exactly how many books, 19 books out, published, I think, somewhere around there. I should really count and remember that. Okay, great. All right, I'm going to say goodnight. Pam, if you have more questions, just put them in the comments and I will make sure and address them at next week's live, okay? Because I'm always excited about questions. Thank you so much. Pam says, wow, that's awesome. Congratulations. Thank you. Yeah, been doing this a long time. It's a passion. All right, good night for the 4th time. Take care.